Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Well, Paul McCartney's making the rounds. He's got a new album, right?
Yep,
Is that what's going on?
That's why.
And, of course, look, I mean, the Beatles are one of the most iconic, successful bands of all time, whether you love them or hate them. Their success is just unparalleled.
I mean, they're right up there with Chumbawamba.
God, really? Now, that, I think, is exaggeration.
It's a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, the Beatles were good, but I don't know. Chumbawamba good, Steve?
That's true. They never had a lyric of the whiskey drink.
That's a good point. And don't forget the lager drink.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really what got me. So Paul McCartney, he said in a new interview that he and John Lennon were very competitive about their songwriting, and actually so competitive to the point that he didn't receive any compliments about his music at all, except for one song John Lennon actually complimented Paul on.
Were you guys competitive?
Me and John? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were competitive, yeah. Not openly, but we later admitted, so Paul's written a good one there, I better get going. Mm-hmm. If he'd have written Strawberry Fields, I would write Penny Lane, and he's remembering his old area in Liverpool, so I'll remember mine.
Mm-hmm. And when that happened, did you compliment each other?
Once.
One
John
time?
gave me a compliment. I think it's Revolver, but it was Here, There and Everywhere was one of my songs on it. But John sort of, just when it finished, that's a really good song, that. I love that song. And I was like, yes, he likes it. And I've remembered it to this day. It's pathetic, really.
Did you ever heap praise on him?
Yeah, I would tell him his stuff was great. You'd normally have to be a little bit drunk. It helped.
That sounds like guys.
I'm not going to tell you what I think of you.
Yeah.
What was Kurt Cobain was also known for that. I remember I saw an interview with Dave Grohl, and he says for the longest time he never heard a compliment from Kurt Cobain for his drumming until they put out In Utero one night. He just got a random call or a message, or not a message, I don't think, but like some way he heard from Kurt, and Kurt was very complimentary. Like, I've been listening to the record, and your drums are freaking awesome. Which is crazy because Dave Grohl's one of the greatest rock drummers.
Yeah.
But, never received a compliment from Kurt.
And the song Paul's talking about, Here, There, and Everywhere from the Revolver album, it is a good tune. Yeah, and it's
felt that moment.
It really defined the hippie generation, considering they were such a pop boy band. I mean, think of any boy band that's so successful these days. That's what they were, and they were able then to become a hit band. I mean,
but in all fairness, they were a boy band in the eyes of obviously they were a pop hit. They were a boy band, but they played their own instruments. That's a good point. It's a weird comparison to make because you're never going to see the Backstreet Boys could do all the acid that they want. They're never going to be able to put together Sgt. Pepper's.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, they just didn't play any instruments. They were their version of a boy band. I 100% agree with you, but they had skills.
And I think, Steve, that's exactly why they were able to make that transition.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. They wouldn't have been able to if they were just a boy band.
No, if they were just a vocal act, there's no chance. I mean, their vocals were phenomenal, but they wouldn't be able to do what they did after they discovered acid.
Yeah. And
man, the recording is so cool. I mean, no band records like that anymore because you don't have to. You know, they were bound by limited technology, so they had to make things go in stereo just so they could fit more tracks into a song. Whereas nowadays, you got Pro Tools and you got computers, you could put a trillion tracks and still have room for more.
Yeah.
But there's something cool about the fact that they were so limited by the technology that it forced them to create the music and have it sound that way.
Yeah. That is a good tune, man. And it's funny, they co-wrote a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They co-wrote a lot of stuff, but I guess when they had their own stuff where they didn't involve each other, I could see where it would get to a competition.
Although I heard that they co-wrote a lot of stuff, but technically they only truly co-wrote where they split the duties of writing a song with maybe 20 of their tracks.
Oh, really?
The rest of them were always attributed as a co-writing kind of a thing, but maybe John did the chorus and Paul did everything else, or something along those lines, which does happen a lot with any band. You kind of come up with an idea and then someone else in the band can kind of finish it, which is probably what made them as great as they were, is that the fact that they were constantly trying to one-up each other, which forced them to be the best that they could possibly be.
I agree, Steve. Competition's a great thing. The Beach Boys were the ones that really fueled them to go into this whole Sgt. Pepper stuff.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that too. You're right. I mean, those two bands probably wouldn't be as great as they were had it not been for the other band, because they were constantly, and you see that with the Who and the Rolling Stones. Like, there's always been like these bands and hell, with the Seattle scene, even though everybody was it was more of a community than a competition. All those bands would be lying if they didn't say they were trying to be better than the other one.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Apparently, when McCartney and Lennon met as teenagers and began writing songs together, they made an agreement that all the songs written by them, whether individually or jointly, would be credited to both of them. So it started from very young.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I was thinking about that. I was like, that's a great song, but Eleanor Rigby is, in my opinion, McCartney's greatest effort.
And I didn't realize he did that too. I always thought that was Lennon. So that's McCartney too. Yeah. How do you not give a nod to that song if you're John Lennon? Isn't that interesting? But he likes Here, There, Everywhere better.
And maybe there was more of a collaborative effort on something like that. And that's why maybe this was the one where Paul's just like, here's the song. It's fully done. And John was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you may be right about that. Either way, man, I like the idea that competition can breed greatness. Sometimes in society, we don't want people to compete or really get a little heated and fueled, but sometimes it makes great stuff happen.
Tell that to Pete Carroll.
Yeah, exactly. Tell that to Pete Carroll. All right, 911 was called for a couple of odd reasons involving Halloween decorations. Oh, and a kid having issues with his homework. Steve's going to tell you all about this. He's got the news for you at 6:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
He's the best newscaster named Steve in this room. Right now, here's Steve Migs with the news.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks to Colorado State University Global Campus for giving us news and sports. And hey, happy National Good Neighbor Day.
Oh, I'm a really good neighbor.
Yeah.
Debatable. I'm amazing.
Debatable.
This is my day.
Well, hey, speaking of good neighbors, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my neighbors. I met him yesterday while we were walking Lulu around the neighborhood. So shout out to Sean. Oh. He pulled up alongside us and said, hey, my mom and dad said you lived in our neighborhood. I didn't believe them, but here you are.
Oh, wow.
It was great because I'm talking with him. He's like, I listen all the time. Love you guys' show. And I told him how much I appreciated that. And then as I'm talking, he finally goes, oh my God, you do sound like him. That's because I am him.
I can't believe you're you.
It was awesome, dude. He was a super nice guy.
You actually were. You actually stopped,
Sean.
and you were nice to people.
Well, yeah, he drove his car right in front of us. I had nowhere to go. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. We were just walking around with Lulu, and he pulled up alongside us. Of course, I'm going to stop.
What a good neighbor.
Like, sir, keep driving.
Now, did you know Good Neighbor Day was coming up? Or is this how you always are?
No, but there's a whole other bunch of dates that are happening today, like Strawberry Pie Day and other things. I'm like, I'm bringing up Good Neighbor Day because I have a good neighbor.
Oh.
It's also National Drink Beer Day, so.
Oh, really?
Danny, where you going?
New Mexico, actually.
Yeah. Getting some of that good beer at Dion's Pizza?
I'm going to do that, actually.
Right. This is more of me giving you an opportunity to let the listeners know where is a good place for them to go crush a beer.
The beer junction, of course. I was there last night and drank all the fresh hot beers.
There you go.
Beer Junction, okay.
It's a lot easier for them to go to the beer junction than to go to New Mexico.
So. I don't know. I think we can make it to New Mexico.
All right, let's all book our flights. What is it, like 5 o'clock-ish?
Yeah, 5:30.
All right, we got plenty of time to get on the plane.
Let's do it.
Well, happy National Drink Beer Day and National Good Neighbor Day. Maybe combine the two and enjoy a beer with your neighbor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to enjoy a beer with this neighbor because I believe he's still underage. So.
Oh, yeah, that would be National Steve Goes to Jail Day.
Yes.
That's the idea.
I don't want to do that with the weekend coming up. I have a nice, relaxing weekend. I like to stay at home as opposed to behind bars.
So, from what I understand, in prison, they really celebrate Good Neighbor Day.
I bet they do.
Yeah, they do.
It's also National Sit Down Funny Day when you're in jail.
Oh,
Yes.
see?
All right, let's talk about 911, and actually let's talk about neighbors. Speaking of Good Neighbor Day, a guy called 911 because of his neighbor and their Halloween decoration.
What?
The best part about this, the guy that called 911, he's a radio guy. His name's Jay Thomas. He works in Fargo, North Dakota. And apparently his neighbor was hanging up some Halloween decorations, and they were only up for a couple hours before he decided to call 911 because of them. She hung up a sign that said, "Help me," and it looked like it was written in blood. Again, Halloween is just around the corner.
Okay.
But apparently she went to dinner without hanging up the rest of the decorations, and here is Jay explaining why he called 911.
I look across the street and I see in my neighbor's window this sign that says, "Help me." So I'm like, what's going on over here? So I go walk down there to look in the car, and the person in the car just motions me to get out of here. I'm like, whoa, okay, something's not right. To my defense, there were no other Halloween decorations out there.
Well, something's not right.
Still, you got to give the guy...
It sounds like he's enjoying National Drink Beer Day, too.
Yeah, well, good for him. But
something's not right.
Yeah, hey, everybody. But you know what? The guy, you know what they say? If you see something, say something.
His heart was in the right place.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So is his beer glass.
No, you're right. And if all it says is "help me," I guess that's kind of a...
Yeah. And then, see, your mind will make up a lot of stuff. Like, I wonder what the car really did. But, he was
That's
like...
true.
He probably was, like, going to one of his favorite movies for, oh, my God, this is Liam Neeson. Someone's getting taken.
Or maybe they were just shooing him away because, like, there's that drunk radio guy again trying to talk to us.
Yeah. I know exactly.
Shoo.
Jay, we've had enough of you again. You have a show. We hear you there. Get out of here.
Well, anyways, as it turns out, she just had the sign that said "help me," and she was finishing up her decorations, and there you go.
Yeah. I think that's a weird decoration, though, "help me," for Halloween.
I would make sure to have something else up there.
I get the idea, but let's not American Horror Story it. Let's go traditional with our Halloween, please.
One of our neighbors, though, has a giant skeleton, and it's just trying to get into the house, and that's the only... But it's on the second floor, and it's just kind of touching the window.
Oh, that you should call the cops on those folks.
You're absolutely right. There's no other decorations.
Yeah, dude, those... I mean, come on, dude. I've seen Army of Darkness. Those skeletons kick ass. You can't let them run wild like that.
That's not the only 911 call that happened recently, and this one might be the greatest 911 call of all time. Usually it's because of fast food not being delivered or not being... There's no sweet and sour sauce in the bag.
Well, yes.
But this involves a little kid in Fort Collins. He called 911 because, he was having issues with his math homework.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, this is an emergency, but I'm 10 years old and I'm working on my math homework right now, and I can't figure out what 71 divided by 3052 is.
What is the... How much?
What? 71 divided by 3052.
3052?
Yeah.
I could try to help you. I don't know how to do that off the top of my head either at the moment, so...
Okay, thanks.
1 second. Are you working on decimals, or...?
I'm working on division.
Okay. So it's are you sure it's 71 divided by that, or is it 3052 divided by 71?
It's 3052 divided by 71.
Okay.
There we go.
1 second.
That's a little easier.
Because just doing it on a calculator, it's 42.98, which you would round up to like 43.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Is that all you needed?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
That's awesome. But the kid's screwed because I think you got to show your work.
Well, then he just plays this call.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is showing your work.
Yeah. This could be a slippery slope. What if the kid now starts calling about other things, too?
Well, yeah, why not? He got good help. I think at that point they get to be 911 buddies.
I mean, shout out to that 911 guy, because, usually they get annoyed when anyone calls that's something that's not an emergency. But I do love that the kid said, this is not an emergency, but I do need your help.
Yeah, there's all sorts of adorable with that call, I have to say.
That kid's too pure for this world. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Made me feel good.
We're good. I'm glad. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, say that on National Good Neighbor Day, Steve. You're doing it.
I'm your neighbor. Yeah. We're next door neighbors here at the game of Desk Life.
Yep.
The game of Desk Life?
I don't know.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Friday, guys. It's Friday.
Hey,
I'm excited for the Hawks game. It's happening this Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. And fingers crossed, we'll have Doug Baldwin back with the team. He told the reporters, he says, I know Pete has a press conference coming up eventually, which will be actually today, so you're going to have to ask him, but I'm ready to go. He practiced on Wednesday. He practiced also on Thursday. Both were limited practices, but still he's out there. He's feeling good. He would definitely be a welcome addition to the Seahawks team, and let's hope he's back in the mix and doing some great things. You can watch that game at 1 p.m. on Fox. I don't know if you guys watched Thursday Night Football last night.
What a game that was.
Sheesh, right?
I mean, I hate it because of the fact it involved the Rams looking like they're amazing.
For a second, I was like, maybe the Rams are going to lose to the Vikings. They ended up winning 38-31, but boy, oh boy, a lot of Vikings fans are probably waking up still pissed off from that game. Two calls that happened. That one should have meant that the Rams didn't score a touchdown, and the other should have meant that the Vikings should have scored a touchdown.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, dude. It was crazy.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's nuts.
Well, there was one where Todd Gurley, he had a big run, I think like 57 yards, and the rest missed a giant block in the back during it that would have meant that it was a penalty. And then also a member of the Vikings scored a touchdown, but they called it back saying he was down, but he was never down. Like the guy never touched him when he went down, so he got up and finished the touchdown. So both of those were very suspect.
And I mean, there was no challenge, or you couldn't challenge. I mean, that's
even like the guy that does the reviewing from the other places said, I don't know why the refs didn't call that. It was just one of those things.
Boy, that is, that's where football's getting it wrong. I have to say, man, I don't understand that.
Huskies are at home taking on BYU tomorrow at 5:30. The Cougs also at home tomorrow, 3 p.m. against Utah. Sounders, let's hope they can turn this 2-game losing streak around, and they're going to be playing tomorrow against Colorado. Mariners lost yesterday 2-0. Texas, they're playing them again tonight at Safeco Field, and that's at 7:10. As far as weather, 74 degrees and sun, and thank you, Kia of Puyallup, for giving us news and sports.
Yeah, it's officially now with the Mariners, you can call it a collapse, because I've taken a look at all of the divisions in baseball, because that was my favorite thing to whine about as well. If they were in the National League, they'd be amazing.
It's not that way anymore.
No, it would be really hard for them to get into the playoffs in the National League at this point. They have officially collapsed.
They've given up.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Well,
I have hope for 2019.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been watching the Mariners much, but maybe they're just trying out a lot of new guys. That happens a lot when you're officially out of it. You'll go, oh, let's see if we can audition some people, see what we can look at. So that's a bummer. But, I mean, at least it was a winning season.
So how many games do they have left?
3, I think. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 games.
So even if they won all 3, they wouldn't be able to get 90 wins. I was kind of still hoping for a 90-win season. I know that doesn't mean crap because you're not in the playoffs, but it would just been nice to be able to see them. 86 wins on the season is what am I saying? I mean, it sucks.
It sucks. It's a point in the right
direction. Go 2019.
It's a step in the right direction, but it does suck. The Robbie Cano stuff really was hard. I think that's something we'll have to hopefully sort out in the offseason and figure out what that's going to be about. But yeah, it does suck. And in football, I want to bring this up, Steve, because you talked about those 2 calls. And again, I watch a lot more baseball than football. How is it that baseball's getting it right? How is there is no more controversy in baseball outside of maybe balls and strikes, but when it comes to a close play now, they will look at it and they'll figure it out and go, yeah, we're reversing that. Yeah. How does football, who started replay before baseball, how do they not figure this out?
It's nuts, man. And like I said, if you're a Vikings fan, I'm never one that gets too worked up about ref calls because, typically, eventually the ball will bounce in everyone's direction, good or bad. I don't get too worked up about it, but these are just you're just like, come on, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, those are 2 calls that adversely affected a team in the game. Now, granted, we're homers because we want to see the Vikings beat the Rams, so there's a little bit of that in there in me, but they got to get this right. As I'm
I don't know. You saw that one. He goes down, but no one touches him, so he gets right back up, and then they blow the whistle, so he doesn't get to finish the run. And it's just he's like, what are you doing?
Oh, see, that's the problem. When you blow whistles, it's hard to fix that. I wish there was a way you could do something about that. Give him a couple extra yards, something where if the ref messed up, there's a way that the team at least gets something for it. Because you're right, dude. He's off. He's done.
Great catch,
yeah. Yeah, he makes a great catch, doesn't get touched, and he's ready to go to the races, and the ref blows the call.
Yeah.
Boy, there's got to be something you can do about that. I don't know what, man. Maybe there's nothing you can do.
Time machines.
Oh, okay. I like this plan.
Everything.
I like this plan. Well, yesterday, Steve, he would probably like a time machine because he wasn't even close to getting this one right.
K2 is the second highest what in the world?
What? The second highest building?
No.
Plane?
No.
Person?
No.
Hi, K2. I hear you're the second highest person in the world. Where's K1 these days? That would be Mountain, Steve. Yeah. You want a shot at beating Steve? Yeah, you got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Miggs at 647 on the Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. I owe a lot of back taxes. Can bankruptcy help me?
Bankruptcy can discharge back taxes under certain circumstances. Some types of taxes are never dischargeable, like if you have taxes from an employee, if you ran a business and didn't pay employee taxes or sales taxes. Those types of taxes cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. However, most people don't have those kind of taxes. Most people have just regular income taxes. If you owe income taxes and you filed your tax returns but just weren't able to pay the taxes, if the taxes are more than 3 years old and you filed the tax returns, those types of taxes can be discharged in bankruptcy in most circumstances, especially through a Chapter 13 case.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Takeline from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.